anything by Tchaikovsky, but I love it.
Oh. You don't even play concerto? Or?
Too difficult for me.
No, I don't think.
No, I cannot play those octaves. I have no way.
But you like.
I'm at my age. I'm looking for someone who will teach me how to practice octaves. But you shouldn't laugh because I'm serious. It's the biggest tragedy in my life. Octaves. I cannot.
Well, some people are good at those things.
Yeah, they are. They are at 14, at 12 here in Japan. Japan is a country specialist in octaves.
Octave. But you love his symphonies.
Oh, I love everything Tchaikovsky.
Everything.
The first thing I played for a teacher when I applied to have a teacher when I was small, maybe 7 or 6 or something, and I played this. If I do this composer here, he creates mountains.
So how do you play that on the piano? You from the ear or you have a score?
Well, when I learn a piano piece, I have to look from the score, obviously. But I play better if I play by ear.
Oh.
I know I'm not proving it now, but because I'm intimidated, and the piano is very, very good. This piano is very good.
Thank you.
I'd love to give a concert on this one. It's fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Well, is it a B? What is it? A C?
B. It's B. New York. Yes.
Yeah, I love New York pianos, and Germans always say, "Oh, it's very bad, very vulgar." I don't know. I don't find it vulgar at all.
Oh.
It's vulgar. The pianist is vulgar.
Oh.
But I love his, you know, that you can. But I am very touched by Russian music, although I don't play any. Like I know a film that I adore. That's The Childhood of Gorky by Mark Donskoy. He did it in the 30s. And the young protagonist died during the war immediately. He was 18 or something. He was 14 when he filmed it. So, there is a tune in this that I adore. This. But the film makes me cry. It's so touching, and it has lots of choruses. I mean, people who sing in chorus while people are pulling barges on the Volga. You know, not only very famous, but fantastic tunes that I adore. Anyway, you have a very good Steinway. Congratulations.
Thank you. So. I understand you played also for the ballet troupe or ballet.
Oh, that is a bad accident in my life.
Oh.
Yeah, that took a lot of years because I was sort of starting to have not a real career, but to have concerts. And then a friend of mine who wanted me to be eliminated from the scene said, you know, they're auditioning. Jerome Robbins is auditioning for his. He wants to create his ballets on the music of Chopin in Paris with Paris Étoile,
Yes.
you know. So he said, why don't you audition, because you like to play mazurkas and things, so why don't you? So I went there, and he came. I mean, he was ferocious. He was a terribly frightening man. He was horrible, absolutely. And I had 10 years with him, and then in 5 minutes it was done. He said, okay, we'll work. But with a face, you know, like he hated me. He always looked at me as if he hated me. And he kept me 10 years. And not only that, I was never filmed properly. The ballet was, I had only one take, that is the dress rehearsal of the first one, of each ballet, and that's it. I don't have a performance. And some of the dancers filmed themselves from the aisle, from the backstage, but I never got anything. So, but the tape I have is very nice, of Dances at the Gathering. It's a ballet on many pieces, 1 hour long, and but it's filmed from far, and it's not the best possible recording of it. But then ballet, if you film too well, it's not nice, because then you follow one person, you miss what's happening on the rest of the stage. From the very back, it's very nice. It's better even, because so you can choose where to look, which any of the spectators would do.
I see.
Anyway, this was a mistake in my life, but I don't resent it, because I learned how they practice, the dancers, and it's very good. It's marvelous, because they repeat the gesture until it's completely perfect. And then I thought, I sometimes tell my pupils that maybe if they work on one bar in order to clean it, to make it completely fantastic, then you put it in the drawer, you can take it out anytime, it's okay. And that's what they do with ballet. They don't rehearse the whole thing. Just one gesture, but so well that it's at the moment it becomes perfect.
So,
And it was nice to see him rehearse the dancers with his own gestures, because after that, when he died, we had his how to say, the people of his foundations who made us repeat the ballets, but they were not musical as he was. He was very musical.
So it is how you practice piano too, to make it perfect. No.
No, because I enjoy playing it. I play too much and I practice not enough.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't believe.
No, you have to believe. But I believe in one thing. It comes to me now. I believe in the score only for the notes. That is, imagine a play, Racine or Shakespeare or whatever, with indications. Here you scream, here you rallentando, and it's not possible. Any actor would laugh at you, wouldn't want to obey those things. And I feel the same. I feel the music has its meaning without any indications. And in fact, you can scream, and you can also whisper, and you can be ferocious if you whisper. I hate you. It's much worse than I hate you. You know. And same with music. I think anything is possible if you believe in it. I think the notes, and also what I tell my students is that what is important is not the notes, but the intervals of the notes. If I have to do, it's the same. So it is not the real place of it, not the spots where you play, but the distance between each note. So if I know a tune, like I played Romeo and Juliet, then I don't see why then I know Romeo and Juliet better than if I had no ear and I would play it from the score. Because then I wouldn't understand the meaning. The meaning is what the story is, and I cannot say, I've known people who, teachers who say, play more nostalgic. Imagine playing nostalgic. How can you do this? You cannot. But if the music is nostalgic, and you don't prevent it from being, then it will be. And it's just the notes that are enough to say, to convey a feeling, like the regret. Like Rachmaninoff is the master in talking about lost childhood, I think. And you can't explain why. It's just the notes.
Okay, some teachers say that you should follow all the instructions, even small instructions, like a rallentando or accelerando.
And I answer, I don't believe in this at all. I think rallentando is for the deaf, one. Yeah, and in fact the rallentando, if it's needed, you will find it by yourself. I mean, what would be nice is to see if the way you want to slow down corresponds to what the composer has written. But in fact, look like Bach. Bach didn't say play like a machine. But if you want to rallentando, you can. If I personally use the pedal for Bach sometimes, especially the middle pedal, to keep a bass, or of course not a scale. But I believe that the music knows a way to express itself. If you tell a story, you don't have an artistic way to tell a story. If you tell the story of a wolf and the three pigs, you don't need to have great art to do it. Just tell the story, and that will be enough, I think. Especially if I have an harmonic ear, and I suppose I need it a little less than other people's, but I'm not. I have many things that I cannot do. I told you. So, but playing by ear, I can. No, I don't play regular and in one tempo the whole thing. No, I don't.
Because some people think that you should never change the tempo, even slightly. Just without metronome.
You should not give the impression that you're changing the tempo. But if something is a curve, then you have to take a curve. It's not, you cannot take it straight. There are curves in music, and so it's like when you drive, you slow down a bit in the curve so that it's audible. You understand why you turn left. But
interesting.
But I have the tendency to play Bach quite fast. That is, I don't do this sort of thing. Because I need the phrase to. It's like this thing. I don't do. This is Mozart. I don't like slow tempi where every note becomes important and you don't follow the line. Prevent it from flowing somewhere.
Because some people play rather slowly, so they think they can put more emotions and more.
Well, it depends on the passages. If you play this. or it's fast enough, it's too slow, not too slow, not very slow.
No.
But I can play very slow things. But this is not a slow thing so much. It's a recitative, you know, it's noble, it has to tell a story. I cannot tell a story syllable by after syllable. Kind of like
Can I ask you about some Chopin? I guess Chopin is a very important composer for you.
for
everyone,
for
every pianist.
You know, I have an illness who is called Horowitz. I think he's very special. He plays like nobody. I cannot even start to imitate because every time I hear Horowitz, even a piece that I've heard many times, it's new. He doesn't do something that one expects, and yet it's right. He will do, for instance, a piano subito where there is an accent. Instead of the accent, he does the accent like you have in sculpture, you know, how do you say, bas-relief or relief. When a sculpture has is convex or concave,
Yes.
it produces the same effect. He has concave effects of important things. It's wonderful. It's I mean, he's a great inventor. He was. Don't believe that he's just following the score. Come on. He had the score inside his ears.
So is it?
And he's the king of mazurkas.
Yes.
Everybody's very stiff in mazurkas compared to him.
So maybe some people may think he plays so freely. Maybe some compared to the original score, he maybe like improvisation, almost improvisation, or.
I don't think so. I think he's quite classical.
Quite classical.
Yeah, he's quite logical. He's not crazy. And he doesn't do rubato in the style of that Cortot and people, you know, in the 30s who did things like this. Things like that he didn't do. Ta, never.
I see. So can I ask what?
This is not rubato. It's just bad taste.
What about Sanson Francois?
He could be great. He could be great. But when I heard him, he had already. I mean, he drank.
Yes.
And he was starting to mess up. But the recording of Tombeau de Couperin and Gaspard Lamy is fantastic. Really, the best. I mean, there are youngsters who play perfect now, and they don't have that drive. You know, he was great. He could be great. He died young.
Yes. Then can I ask, you mentioned about the Russian music you like. So do you play lots of Rachmaninoff or I don't know, Scriabin?
I have a recording. I was lucky enough to play the first of Rachmaninoff, first concerto.
First concerto.
It's on YouTube actually. It was with a fabulous conductor who was 30 at the time, who made his debut in Paris. I was sort of 40, I think. And his name is Jacek Kasprzyk. And he became the main conductor of the Chopin competition for years and years, and also of the opera in Warsaw. He was completely fabulous. I felt that I was part of the orchestra. He was not accompanying me. He was creating the piece, and I was part of it. I was extremely lucky to have this debut with this piece. I never played it again. Was never asked again, but I am very, very happy that the radio was there and that it was recorded properly, not by a Walkman somewhere in the hall, you know, like it happens. And I think it's the best thing I've done. And I've played the Rag 3 or 4 times, never as successfully as some other people for whom it's very easy. For me, it's not very easy.
Yeah, but concerto number 3 is very long and very complicated.
It's
So,
fabulous actually, the way it's constructed, like with 2 or 3 themes that go through all the movements and variations that keep coming. Where I don't know how he got the ideas. With the ideas, simple da 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 da, just nothing. But what he does is phenomenal. But I think the second concerto is probably more successful and more pleasing. But I never touched it.
Oh, really?
No, how sad. I'm still waiting for somebody to ask me to play it.
I guess Horowitz
Never
didn't
played
play
with you.
second.
I know.
I don't know why. But, maybe he didn't like it.
He said he didn't like it, but there is this funny anecdote about that. He said to Rachmaninoff, the last theme, there's at the end, when he had an accompaniment instead of the tune, he said, "Why don't you? Can't I play the tune instead?" He told Rachmaninoff. Rachmaninoff said, "Do as you want." But of course he was stupid to ask because the concerto is fabulous the way it is. But he wanted to play the real tune, the tune itself,
Yes.
as though it made a difference. It doesn't matter at all if he played the tune.
Yeah, but Rachmaninoff himself was a great pianist, so
Yeah,
he
he was.
must have been aware of this. That the piano is almost like accompaniment.
Yeah, but he composed the whole thing, so he didn't have to
Right.
prove
Yeah.
anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's great music. I don't understand how he makes those tunes that seem to be discovered, not invented. It's very natural. The second movement is incredibly beautiful.
Yes.
This dialogue between the flute.
Yes, I personally like the number 2 very much.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
compact, but very deep emotion.
And when I talked earlier, I think about his ability to talk about lost youth. When you have, I don't know. Fantastically moving. It's nothing, but it's so true. It speaks a language that we really understand. So if a teacher says play nostalgic, we don't need
The music speaks for
Yeah.
itself.
fabulous piece.
So, any advice you want to give to young pianists?
Have an ear.
Ear.
Better than fingers, but the fingers are useful. I wish I had more how to say repeated chords faster or something. But well, I am the way I am, and I'm not going to improve.
So, I think many young pianists nowadays want to just concentrate on finger training,
No,
finger
they're very
technique.
gifted. They're very gifted. It's good to have that gift too,
Yes.
and it doesn't prevent anybody from having an ear. But it would be if you feel then you shouldn't do ta 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 because it's not better music. You have in Rhapsody Blue ta 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 ta. If you can't do ta 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 ta, doesn't work. It's really
Yes.
it's like the thing to repair sidewalks, you know. I don't know how you call this machine.
So, what to, how can we develop good ears? Any way?
I tell my students to transpose. I tell them to icho, you know.
Yes.
I know icho because I tell it to Japanese too. And people who say, "Oh, I can't do it," the many who don't try because they cannot. So I say, when you can't do something, you have to practice. You have to learn to do it. It's not you can't do it, therefore you don't do it. Therefore you work. And it's a pity not to be able to know a tune because when I was small, I had perfect pitch, and yet I didn't use it to the point of being stubborn about starting with, I don't even think I play in D major. I start with an F sharp and then I go on. If I do, there's no difference for me at all. And I knew I had a friend, Daria Hovora, who was a very good musician, and one of the best I've ever. She was so fanatic about the real note. She said, "Oh, I can't stand it when you play in another key." I can. I don't know why.
So I guess some people are more talented.
No, I don't mean it's well, if you're a musician, it's better to have an ear, and if you're a painter, it's better to have an eye. Learning to hold the pencil is not the most essential thing for somebody who wants to draw, is it? You see? So learning to, it's like this is our pencil and our brushes, and then it's better to it's an extension of my vocal cords, if you want. But there are many. I look like I'm boasting and happy about myself. I'm very unhappy because there are many things I can't do at the piano. Very many. For instance, I can't play the study in thirds, and little girls in Japan play it at 8. And I remember my friend Yoko Kono, who told me they played because I never tell them it's difficult. I give them the study in thirds, and then they practice, and the next week they bring it. They think it's easy. I cannot play it at all. Horowitz never played it. He wasn't very good in Chopin etudes. He had 4 or 5.
Yes.
And Rubinstein played 4 or 5. Plum, 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 plum. And they always said in the program, the maestro will choose, I always change the sentence, will choose the 4 etudes among the 4 he knows.
He only knows 4?
Yeah, and he said he will choose among all the etudes they wrote, but in fact he chose about among the 4 he knew, but he played them very well, those 4.
Yes, of course.
There is a fabulous concert by Rubinstein in '64 in Moscow. Chopin concert, fantastic, except he had a huge memory problem in the funeral sonata, second movement. And I've heard him 3 times play that thing, always with the same mistake. At the end of the second movement, he takes the beginning. And he doesn't want to be in the beginning again. So I've heard him, bang the atonal chords like suddenly he was improvising Pierre Boulez or something. And then went back to the beginning, and then always there is a mess.
So he didn't rehearse?
I don't know why he didn't practice properly the second movement. The first movement was fantastic. The very best, I think. He could be great. He has a grandeur,
Yes.
And he had this position at the piano, and the way he bowed. Very proud of himself, great pride.
I think many young pianists in Japan try to concentrate on hitting the right notes, of course, but
I'm so admirative of people who hit the right notes. Like somebody like Tsuji, who doesn't even see the keyboard and never hits the wrong note. There is something magic about this. I mean, if he's not a genius, who is? He goes anywhere with better than somebody who sees.
But as you said, if you have good ears,
He also, believe me, he does. Yeah, I mean, if you improvise, if I play in another key, if I want a D, I go to a sound. But if I play from this, I go to a place. I go to a spot, it's not the same. Because if you really want a D, then you won't hit something, you will wait until you're sure that it's a D.
Yes.
But when you're out in the concert, sometimes you want to follow the rhythm, or you want to play faster, then you send your left hand to hell, to war, without telling who is the enemy and who is the,
Interesting.
The difference is, it's like if you paint, you don't look for a color for the sky or for the grass, you want green, okay? You go to the green, you don't go to the fourth plate with the color that it happens to be green. You don't hit the fourth one. You want green, and if I want a G, I want the G. I don't want a spot, so I cannot miss. In fact, if I improvise. But if I practice, I tend to make wrong notes sometimes.
So the sound, you're dictated by the sound, not the notes.
Yeah, a place is a sound,
Place
and
is sound.
I am addicted to the fact that it's to a distance. Not so much one sound. One doesn't count, but two already count. But when people transpose, my pupils, they say, how come you don't know where the note is? They don't. This is very easy, but when it isn't easy, I believe in distance. If you want to draw someone's face, what is important is not the length of the nose, but the length of the nose as compared to the space between the nose and the mouth, and the width of the mouth, and where the eyes are. And that's how you. It's always a proportion that makes a resemblance, not you know. And it's the eye that decides, not the hand. Never the hand. But I'm not perfect at all. I'm sure that Horowitz had a better ear than me. And I was told, true or not, that he didn't have perfect pitch. And I think that's a good thing. Because then you're not fanatic of the place, but of the correlation between the sounds.